Game day with Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Order online for delivery or pizza portal pickup. Here's a look at the notable Week 17 games with plenty to be decided. Buccaneers can clinch the NFC South with a win on Sunday against the Panthers. In the AFC, the Dolphins can clinch a playoff spot with a win against the Patriots and a Jets loss. Teddy Bridgewater will start in place of Tua, who's in concussion protocol. And the 1 seed still up for grabs in the AFC. The Bills can clinch the top seed with a win against the Bengals and a Chiefs loss, though that's not likely as they play the Denver Broncos. Let's welcome in Sportsline analyst Jason Canfora, who's been covering the NFL for more than 2 decades. Start in Tampa, where the Buccaneers can clinch the NFC South with a win against the Panthers. Carolina's simplest path to the NFC South title is to win their final 2 games. Panthers beat the Bucs in Week 7, 21-3 as 13-point dogs, the largest upset in the NFL this season. So, Jason, how about another upset?
It wouldn't shock me. In fact, I like Carolina here on the money line, and I'll love it if Vita Vea, you wait another day, find out if he's, what he's listed as on the injury report. And even if he goes, I think he's going to be fairly limited, and we know what a physical, imposing presence he is. And the Carolina Panthers want to play an old-school backyard football game. They ran for 173 in the first meeting. Could argue the Bucs D-line worse since then. Carolina's offense has congealed since then. I mean, this was the early days after trading McCaffrey, and we didn't really know what this would look like. Well, guess what? They're going to road grade pretty much everybody that they face. Foreman went for 118 on 15 carries. And the crazy thing about this matchup is, as you see there, one of these guys is turning it over a ton and the other isn't. I think you're going to see Tampa have to throw the ball 45, 50 times. That has something to do with these turnovers. There's too much volume for them. I just feel like Carolina can bully their way to a victory here. They can play keep away with the football. I think they'll be able to sustain drives on the ground. Tampa can't run the ball at all. They're so one-dimensional. I don't know. I mean, they score when they go, no huddle in the final minutes of games when they need desperation points. You can't play 60 minutes that way. I don't think they can, certainly. I think this is a nice matchup for the Carolina Panthers.
All right, we'll see how that plays out, but you're going to take the Panthers on the money line at plus 143. Vikings elsewhere already clinched the NFC North, but the Packers have a path to the playoffs. Got to win their final 2 games, and a Commanders loss, or have the Giants lose their final 2 games. Green Bay's a 3.5-point home favorite. Total's 48. You picking a side or targeting the total?
Yeah, I'm going to go over here. I think if you sort of scheme this game out, you can see scenarios where both teams get to 24 or more, and that gets us home. Green Bay playing their best football of the season, and LaFleur and Rodgers, traditionally December, January, this has been their time. The Minnesota Vikings are giving up 30 points a game over the last 7-8 weeks. They have a terrible secondary, and everybody throws it almost 40 times a game against them because why wouldn't you? There's yards and points in them there hills. Green Bay is going to be able to take advantage of that. I think we're going to see pinball football in a game played at a very different pace, chasing points in a way that they're meeting way back in Week 1 never got to. But Jefferson's going to be a handful. I think Dalvin Cook is going to be a handful. Cousins has played fairly well at Lambeau if you check his numbers over the years. So, yeah, I think these are 2 defenses that weren't nearly what a lot of people thought they were going to be. And I think this will be a situation where the first 1 to 30 wins.
All right, over 48 there at Lambeau Field between the Vikings and Packers in Week 17. In the AFC, the Dolphins can clinch a playoff spot with a win against the Patriots and a Jets loss. Teddy Bridgewater will start in place of Tua Tagovailoa, who's back in concussion protocol. Miami, a 2.5-point dog at New England. The total's 41. What's your approach in this game?
Yeah, I mean, this is not one of my favorite games of the weekend. A lot of variables here, and we just haven't seen very much of Teddy Bridgewater in this offense. But it was a slobber knocker the first time they played, very low-scoring game. I'm just going to lean to the under, and particularly the first half under. I think Bridgewater's going to need some time to get himself going. Mac Jones has not been a fast starter at all. That New England offense has tended to be really sluggish, and it kind of comes to life when they absolutely need it. We know that New England wants to run the football. And I think with a backup quarterback, Mike McDaniel's going to have to flex his muscles and show that he can do it. And you know what? They did it on Buffalo a couple weeks ago. But I think that especially the first half, are these 2 teams going to combine for the equivalent of 3 touchdowns? I don't think so. So I'm under 20.
All right, 1 seed is still up for grabs. The Bills can clinch the top seed with a win against the Bengals and a Chiefs loss. KC plays Denver, so the 1 seed will likely be decided in Week 18. Monday night, Josh Allen and the Bills visiting Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Buffalo's a 1-point road favorite. Cincinnati's won and covered 7 straight games. They're the cover kings. You go back further than that, the Bengals are 20-3 ATS in their past 23 games. What's your play in this monster matchup?
I'm going over here. I think this will be a showcase game for these offenses, for these quarterbacks, as good as the defenses are. You know, we've seen on the big stage how this can go with Allen against Mahomes and Burrow against Mahomes. I think this game is played into the 50s. I think you're going to see Josh Allen run quite a bit. I'd look at some of his rushing props. This is sort of an all systems go, right? Leave it all hanging out there. Burrow has been on tremendous pace. He's been playing like an MVP since week 2. He did have the hiccup last week, the pick 6 against New England. Another interception after that. I don't see a repeat performance in the cards for him that way. I think this is a game where a guy like a Von Miller being available would have been huge for the Buffalo Bills. Both these defenses a little bit banged up. You know, Awuzie's not coming back for the Bengals this year. I just see points. So I'm going to lean into this being a football fiesta, throwing the ball around, both these stud quarterbacks doing their thing, and this game being played somewhere in the 50s.
That'd be fun. I'd like to see that. That'd be fun. All right, time now for your best bet in Week 17. You've been riding with the Ravens unders lately, and it's been easy money. Yeah. The unders hitting 4 straight Baltimore games. Is the trend our friend for at least one more week?
I think it is. I don't, like last week, I think I told you you'd have to get down under 28 for me to get off of it. I don't feel that way about this game, but I still think we're looking at something like 17-13. I don't buy either of these offenses. They're totally broken. Baltimore's red zone offense does not exist. Mark Andrews is throwing his helmet. He's so frustrated the backup quarterback can't get the ball to him. There isn't anybody else to get it to. Baltimore ran for 215 on Mike Tomlin a couple of weeks back. That's not happening again. I can assure you that much. I think Watt is really starting to come into his own. The Steelers have figured some things out with their defensive fronts. They're using a lot of 6-man fronts now. I think that's going to present some challenges for the Ravens, particularly their undersized center, Tyler Linderbaum. Both these are very good defensive teams. And even when they have their starting quarterbacks available, Steelers, Ravens is usually a rock fight. So, yes, I am on the under.
All right, under 35, Ravens and Steelers is Jason's best bet. Sunday Night Football, and we'll see if that pays off for a 5th week in a row. As for his other Week 17 picks, likes the Panthers to pull off the upset at nearly plus 140 on the road against the Buccaneers. They still have a path to the NFC South title. Over between the Vikings and Packers of 48. First half under of 20 between the Dolphins and Patriots. Again, Teddy Bridgewater getting the start in place of Tua Tagovailoa. And on Monday night, Bills and Bengals over 49.5 with the 1 seed up for grabs in the AFC. All right, now let's get your Week 17 parlay. Jason, what do you have for us? What did you put together for us this week?
Yeah, well, you know how I feel about that Ravens-Steelers game, so I'm on that under. I also think the Steelers win that football game. Their playoff lives depend on it. It's desperation mode, and I don't think they get swept by their rival, and they have their starting quarterback back. For this meeting, I think that Bears-Lions game is going to be absolutely bonkers. I think that game is over. I think both those teams could score into the 30s on one another. They put up 61 between the two teams the first meeting, and that was outdoors and not on the fast track. So, yeah, that's my prop. That's my parlay. Plus 709.
I like it. Pays it better than 7-1. And we'll see if you get another under in your Baltimore Ravens weekly wagers here. It's been a thing of beauty for Jason. He's been tracking that the last month, and it has been easy cash. So here's his Week 17 parlay. Ravens, Steelers under 35. Steelers to win that game on the money line, and the Bears and Lions to go over 52. The pays at plus 709.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.